This week in East Brunswick, Mayor Fox cut the ribbon officially opening the new Senior Citizen Center. We'll begin with coverage of that event, including interviews with the mayor, council members, and with Cynthia Schechter, head of Older Adult Services in town. Also this week, we'll look in on a dance class for youngsters at Memorial School taught by Harry Streep, brother of actress Meryl Streep. Later, Carol Merle will offer tips for would-be gourmets on creative ways to serve raw vegetables. Adrian Eisner will visit Meyer's Toy Store for a special segment on infant car seats, and we'll end with Township Council Review. Stay tuned. The East Brunswick Division of Recreation would like to announce that it has moved its offices. They are now located within the new Senior Citizens Building, located next to the library at 3 Gene Walling Civic Center Drive. All business transactions will be handled at this new location. In-person registration will begin Thursday evening, March 15th at 6 p.m. and every day following during normal business hours, 8 to 5. Don't delay in registering, as some programs reach capacity more quickly than others. For further information, call 390-6795. Thursday, March 1st was a red-letter day for senior citizens in town, as the new Senior Citizen Center opened its doors for the first time. Mayor William Fox was on hand to dedicate the new facility.
I, like you, am very, very happy that this day has finally come. And I think that all of us ought to recognize the amount of effort and the labor of love that Cynthia put into this. We've tried our very best to provide a facility that will meet your needs and avoid the mistakes that others have made. I hope we don't discover that we made our own, but we've tried to avoid what we could in terms of looking at other people's facilities. You know, this program has come a long way. I can remember 8 years ago when we didn't even have a bus, and that was the issue, and we got the bus, and we got another bus, and we provided transportation. I don't think anybody then would have envisioned that we would have a facility like this. But there's still more to do. Even though we have some housing for senior citizens, I'm determined that we do everything we can to develop more affordable housing for people who need it. And this isn't a conclusion. This is only a step along the way. And I hope that in the years to come that this building will be loved and used by everybody, and that you'll get a great deal of satisfaction out of it.
I'm sure.
I never have figured out why you cut ribbons from the inside. But, here we go.
Right.
Following the ceremony, Sentinel reporter Rhea Basroon asked the mayor when he first saw the need for such a facility.
The program, when it started 8 years ago, was almost an experiment in trying to meet a perceived need among seniors. And when it became clear that it was a real need, and about the time that we moved the program from the Lutheran Church to the library, we could see that in the long range we would need a facility exclusively for senior citizen use, and that the library was simply a temporary arrangement.
Do you think it's good for the whole community?
Oh, I think it certainly is good for the whole community. There are so many people who have elderly relatives living with them in East Brunswick that it certainly serves those people. The census figures tell us that our population is aging very rapidly. And as the community matures, there'll be more and more people who will find this facility and this program, and it's really the program that is important, of value and of interest to them.
When we first started talking about a senior citizen center, did you ever imagine anything this big and this beautiful?
Well, I don't know that I imagined anything specifically, but I knew that we would try to meet the need and not be penny wise and pound foolish. There are so many communities that have made mistakes in developing senior centers, either by opening a facility before they had a program or by scrimping and opening a facility that was too small from the day it opened. and we would determine that we not do that, that we would build a facility that hopefully will meet the needs of the community for many years to come.
Later, Rhea interviewed several members of the East Brunswick Township Council, including Councilman Joseph Hudak.
Mr. Hudak, last year when we were speaking about the Senior Citizen Center, you suggested giving the seniors a school rather than building a building. How do you feel now that you see the building completed?
I'm very happy to be here. I think it's adequate because of the fact that they have 1,500 senior citizens. But in the 1980 census, East Brunswick had 5,000. I would think in the future they would need a larger building, but at the present time this would be adequate for the people in town. In fact, I'm a senior citizen myself, and I'm certainly going to enjoy these facilities.
Are you saying you think they'll have to add on to this building?
I would think in the near future they will either have to add on to this building.
Are you happy with the way it turned out?
Yes, very happy.
And I have some senior citizens here with me, Mr. and Mrs. DeBarry and Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth. And Mr. DeBarry was saying some interesting things about how he feels about being in the building today.
I think it's wonderful to know that there is great effort being made towards the senior citizens, and East Brunswick can be proud of that fact, because I've been in other towns and I don't think I've seen a building as beautiful as the one dedicated for the senior citizens.
Have you all looked forward to this day for a long time?
Yes, very excited.
Do you plan to be here a lot?
Yes, I'm very glad to be here. This place has been a salvation to us. We moved here from Florida and we didn't know a soul. It's just been wonderful.
Later, Rhea spoke to council members Michael Baker and Elaine Dennehy.
Mike, you're so far away from being a senior citizen yourself. Can you relate it all to this?
Oh, I certainly can. I've been working towards this goal for many years, and I know many of the seniors who are involved in the program. And if you recall, during the first interview we had when I was running for office, I said I wanted to live in East Brunswick until I became a senior citizen, and I know that the way this building is built, that I'll still be here by the time.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Thank you, Mike. Elaine, how do you feel about the outcome of your efforts to get the seniors their own building?
Well, I'm proud, of course. I think this is a fantastic building, and I wish all the people who use it good health and enjoyment.
How do you feel when Bill cut the ribbon today?
It was a good feeling. Something that we've waited for a long time finally came to be.
Finally, Rhea spoke to the person who's probably the most responsible for the new facility, the manager of the Office of Aging of East Brunswick, Cynthia Schachter.
Cynthia, when did you start beginning to think about a building like this?
Well, I was hired to work in the township to direct senior citizens activities in November of 1976, and probably the first day I walked into the library and started with the program, I realized that we would have to have our own home within a very short time. The library is really a beautiful facility, and we've enjoyed being there, but there's so much more that we needed and wanted to do that wasn't possible in the two rooms that we were able to use there. So in March of 1977, I wrote a memo outlining the type of space that I thought we needed and how the areas, and sent it on to the head of the department.
Cynthia, I'm sure everyone in East Brunswick would like to see the building. When can they have a tour?
Well, we are open for operations for senior citizens as of today. We would like to hold tours for the public at specific times rather than having people come in when we're not available to show the building off. And we will have in the Sentinel an advertisement of when we'll be open for tours for the public.
And when do you expect the furniture to arrive?
Most of the furniture is here. The only thing that has not yet arrived is the lobby furniture, which is upholstered love seats and chairs. It was due before now, but they promised that it will be here within several weeks.
Now that you have the building, do you expect the program to change and expand?
We will continue to have all the programs that we've had up until now, which include art classes, craft classes, music, dancing, exercise, discussion groups, movies, trips and parties. We will expand into areas which we have not been able to touch in the other facility, and they will include many health things in the health area, such as a podiatrist. We're going to do some programs with the American Cancer Society. We will be doing We want to provide services to the senior citizens that they're not able to use because of the transportation problem that they have in East Brunswick. Something as simple as going to the post office becomes an obstacle when you don't have a way to get there. So we'll be able to bring the post office to the senior center because our postmaster in East Brunswick has agreed that once a month they would send a van here. We'll also be able to bring a beautician to give haircuts, a barber to give haircuts to the men, and many other services of that nature.
Cynthia, this must be a very exciting day for you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
This is Rhea Bassroon for This Week in East Brunswick.
In the coming weeks and months, Channel 8 will bring you news of upcoming events and programs at the new Senior Citizen Center. Tune in next week when we'll take you on a walking tour of the new building. Last week, dancer Harry Streep, talented brother of actress Meryl Streep, was at Memorial School teaching grade schoolers some of his steps. Dave Ambrosi asked Harry about his teaching techniques.
Surely. What we've done is to first perform a lecture demonstration to show them a little bit about how we make a dance. And then what we've done is to take each class and meet with them 3 times. And in the 3 times, try and give them an inkling of what it would be like to make a dance themselves. So they become choreographers. But even more than that, while one group is choreographing and trying out something, another group is looking and watching and learning how to look. So they're learning what to look for in a dance. And what we're doing most especially is trying to get them to not only perform movement, but to remember movement. And that's a whole other element, because without remembering it, it just goes out the window and you never have it again. Okay. So I want you to try and remember what you just did with your partner. Okay? I want you to do everything you just did from the beginning. The only difference now is, listen up, the only difference is if you did 4 swings, just make it maybe 2 swings, all right? Or one swing. 1 or 2 movements of one thing at any one time, all right? But I want you to remember everything that you can remember. Now you might forget something, but that's all right. Start from the beginning. Just remember your first movement, and then you'll be all right from there on in, okay? Let's try it. I want you to be able to go right from one movement to the other.
Carol Merle follows next with Gourmet Cooking the Easy Way.
Welcome back to Gourmet Cooking the Easy Way, taped in our school kitchen at Chittick School. Our cook tonight is Carol Palumbo, head cook at Bound Monroe School. Surveys show that Americans don't eat enough vegetables, so we're going to show you how to serve vegetables in a raw state attractively so that everyone in your household will want to eat them. We're going to start with 2 dips that you can use as a dipping for your raw vegetables. The first includes a package of frozen chopped spinach, thawed and drained, a cup of mayonnaise, a cup of sour cream, and a package of dry vegetable soup mix. The bonus of serving raw vegetables is that you get more nutrients from them since they are not cooked or processed and the nutrients are not lost in the process. Now here's the sour cream. And mixed up, and it's very colorful. We'll mix the ingredients together, and then we're going to place the dip in a hollowed out red cabbage, which we'll use for an attractive serving dish. Now we're going to fill the red cabbage that's been hollowed out with the dip. And the contrasting colors always are very attractive to the eye. And place it in the center of a platter we've already arranged with our raw fruits and vegetables, coordinating colors so that they are appetizing and appealing to the eye. On the platter we have fresh mushrooms, fresh peppers, cauliflower, fresh broccoli, red pepper, green pepper. We're going to show you another dip that can be substituted for the spinach and mayonnaise dip. This is avocado and mayonnaise dip that might appeal to your family more than the chopped spinach. It's also very colorful. Mixing avocado with mayonnaise to make a colorful dip and delicious dip. Mix it together in a bowl. A little pepper. When it's a smooth consistency for dipping, it will be ready to be put in a red pepper for a centerpiece for your vegetables and holding the dip. A third dip you might want to try, if the other two do not appeal to your family, is a kind of a seafood cocktail sauce using ketchup and horseradish, either white or red, mixing it together and putting it in a green pepper as a holder for the dip to be served on your platter of raw vegetables. So we have 3 suggestions for dips to use with your raw vegetables. Certainly one will appeal to your family. And then you can take raw vegetables and use them very simply in a salad bar and serve it to your family as a treat, like in crocks or any kind of bowls you have at home. And that can be included, including celery, tomatoes, pickled beets, peppers, cucumbers, beans, 3-bean salad, some bacon bits. Then we have a bowl of mixed lettuce and spinach, and of course a raw spinach and mushroom salad can appeal to the family. We're printing the recipe for the dips on the back of the school lunch menu for February. If you do not get the February menu or a copy of the menu, please call my office at 257-8300, extension 232 for a copy.
Hello, welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Do you care enough to protect your baby in the car? The United States Department of Transportation has proven many times that crash protection for children does not mean holding a child in your lap. You are not strong enough at the instant of crash to hold or protect your child against injury. Only a restraint system designed for the job is always strong enough, always there, and ready to do that job. Although there are hundreds of products sold as safe protection for infant automobile passengers, many are not safe. You must know enough to choose a safe carrier for your child, and then you must use it. New Jersey law, effective April 7, 1983, requires children under 18 months of age must be in a federally approved car seat when riding anywhere in the car. Children between 18 months and 5 years of age must be in a car seat if they are traveling in the front of the car, and must be secured by a safety belt if riding in the rear seat. If the number of children under 5 years of age exceeds the number of safety belts, children who are not restrained must ride in the rear seat of the car. Today, we will be looking at the kinds of seats available so that you will know what to look for when purchasing one. Let's take a look at the seats we have here while we talk about the guidelines that parents should follow. What should you be looking for when purchasing a car seat? First of all, a label clearly stating that the seat has passed a dynamic test and meets federal motor vehicle safety standards. This may be on the front of the seat, but it also is required to be on the rear of the seat. There should also be clear instructions for installation and use in your particular car. So be sure that you turn the seat around carefully to look for the important information. The owner's manual, a statement explaining installation in the car, and also an indication that the seat has met the federal standards. An infant seat is one that is suitable for a child from birth to 20 pounds. It should face backwards and be semi-reclined. The child is secured by a safety harness. The seat itself is anchored by the vehicle's lap belt. A toddler seat, appropriate for a child between 20 and 40 pounds, can be found with a harness or a protective shield. In the toddler seat, the child is sitting in a forward-facing position. In the toddler seat, the safety belts of the vehicle also anchor the car seat. Some infant seats can be simply converted into child seats by moving the safety harness from the lower shoulder slot to the upper slot and placing the seat in an upward position facing forward. Be sure that you use your child restraint device correctly. Some restraints have features which require special installation. Follow instructions in the owner's manual carefully. Remember, the safest place for the child to ride is in the center of the rear seat of the car. You can purchase child restraints in discount centers, juvenile stores, department stores, and at car dealers. Be certain that the restraint you purchase is installed properly in your car and that it is suitable for your type of car. And then, most important of all, don't forget to use it. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. Please join us again next week.
At this week's Township Council meeting, capital improvements programs were discussed. Most discussions centered around the township's parks slated for development in the next 6 years.
I think that we do need to reevaluate the master plan for the town and for the Recreation and Parks Department. But I think that it's important that the council send a message of its intentions and the way it's looking towards the future, whether we're to proceed as we have in the past or whether, given the new realities with which we find ourselves faced, we're saying a real hard stop, take them out of the budget, and let's reevaluate and see whether they should be put back in.
I think there's a very strong message then that the council says to go back, prioritize, and see which things are right.
I mean, you look at the 1984 capital improvement projects, I mean, you almost come down to $6,345,000. I hear Mr. Baker. I mean, where do you go from here? You could take even in the Board of Education, their 6 years is $2,462,000. Here you're talking over $6 million in 1 year. Back to the 7403 Recreation Center, and it says the Town Green Master Plan recommends the development of a community park, estimated cost $2.5 million. I mean, these could be wonderful, but you know, you have to look at the grants, the green acres, and many of the other things. I think too, we should have had maybe Mr. Tanner come in here and prioritizing certain things here, Old Stage Fern Road or the Hardenberg Lane improvement, and there may be some items here that are high priority items that are of traffic problems and drainage, and certainly we may take out something that may be a high priority as far as safety is concerned.
Well, I think that it is prioritized. It's prioritized if it's felt that it's really needed. It's in 1984. If it's felt that it's something that is not needed immediately, they can see some long-range reason for it, then it's in a year other than 84. And certainly all the road improvements are done that way. Now, I think we have to be very careful. We're looking at expenditures that range from 1984 to 1989. And these are capital expenditures where every department head is trying to anticipate those things that he might need in order that we can plan properly. Now, as John has said many, many times, what happens is we decide that we don't need it. The really crucial part is 1984 and what we approve in 1984. But even by approving this, we don't approve anything. We still have to approve the bonding. I think the idea that Mike has in terms of sending a message, though, it is a good one. If, in fact, we take off those things that Mike mentioned, when's Chittick School scheduled? I think that would be an incentive for the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board to really get to work this year and come up with a recommendation for us.
The council did vote to remove several items, at least temporarily, from the capital improvements program, including the Recreation Center and Chittick Park. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.